All right, the Board of Trustees of the Harris County Department of Education now convened in a regular board meeting on Wednesday, February 26, 2020, in the board room at 6300 Irvington Boulevard, Houston, Texas, at 1:04 p.m. Now we got a clock. I'm so happy about that. I know. Making changes here. Exciting. It's exciting. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everybody present at this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operational decisions of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information relating to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. This meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted under Section 551071 to 551084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode, and I'm guilty of doing that too. Thank you for taking time this afternoon to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. So let's start off with the invocation. Rich Vela, could you lead us, please?
Will you bow with me? Dear Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the many blessings you give each and every one of us. Lord, thank you for the board members today, and we ask that you be with them as they make decisions today on our board meeting. We ask that you bless each and every one of these family members that are associated with all of us. And we ask that you watch over them, protect them, and guide them throughout the rest of the day and the rest of this coming year. We ask this in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay. Julie Carson, could you lead us in the pledge to the U.S. and Texas flag? Okay, let's see. I don't think there's anything on the open forum, right? There's no. Okay, no speakers. So let's just move on to reports and presentations. From an annual update from the facilities, Rich Vela, please, will you proceed?
Yes, sir. All right, Mr. President, Mr. Colbert, members of the board, we appreciate the opportunity to come today to present to you our maintenance and operations and construction board presentation. I have my three directors with me. Joe Catillon is our director of construction, John Prestigiacomo with maintenance and operations, and Javier Alada, who's our operations custodial supervisor. And then, of course, we have some of our staff, which is here today. We appreciate them. I know that there are some of them that are missing, but we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for coming today. Again, I'm Rich Vela, the Executive Director for Facilities, John Prestigiacomo, Maintenance Director, Joe Catillon, our Construction Director, and Javier Alada, Operations Manager. And of course, Julie Carson also is our Operations Coordinator who led us in the pledge. She is over this building here at Irvington. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it over and defer to John Prestigiacomo to let you know a little bit about the Maintenance and Operations Division.
Thanks, Rich. This is gonna be a small snapshot of some of our accomplishments projects that we did last year. Here at 6300 Irvington, we upgraded the landscaping and kind of beautified the place right in between the conference center and the main building. We also resurfaced the walkway area, which we were having some issues with slippage and water retainage, so kind of have a safety factor that we improved there. We also beautified the restrooms a little bit on the 3rd and 4th floor to match the 1st and 2nd. The vanities got upgraded. We were pleased to add the new logo over at North Post Oak in both lobbies, so now when visitors come, they can see our nice, neat logo. At High Point East, we did several landscaping upgrades at all 3 buildings to help beautify the area and kind of make it look a lot nicer. Over at Baytown Head Start, we were pleased to add traffic arrows and crosswalks to help improve the traffic flow, congestion, and also, improve the safety of when the students arrive and leave. And when we added a gate at the front entrance for safety reasons. We're looking forward here in the near future, actually in the next month, to adding brand new carpet over at the conference center and adding new accent wall panels that will have our new logo on it. So we'll breathe some life and upgrade and make the conference center even more beautiful. And then we're also going to put some new carpet over in records management offices. And then with the Head Starts, we want to keep upgrading AC units. We already did Barrett Station and Humble this past year. We want to continue with Pew Head Start. Hand it over to Joe Carrion.
So the construction division works closely with all the school principals and administrative personnel to understand and fulfill the needs of each individual division. So with that, some of the completed projects that we did, we renovated the gym at Fortis Academy by replacing the floor and putting in new garage doors. Did the challenge course as well. Also renovated the gym at High Point East with new floors, new paint, and new metal panels. And just a little snapshot of ABS West in a nutshell here. So you can see this is about a year's worth of work in 30 seconds. So, and pleased to say that we are down to the wire at ABS West, and we'll be opening up in March. So moving on, of course, ABS West, kind of a snapshot of before and after, and you can see all the work that's been done inside the walls and in the ceilings, some of the work that you don't see. Some of the current projects we just approved in the PFC board is this sensory room. Sensory room provides the kids stimulation of visual and sight and sound, and really helps the kids therapeutically to kind of take them out of the school setting and kind of makes them feel like they're not even in school anymore. And so ABS West, we did a vote, and ABS West chose to do an underwater theme, and so we actually did everything from the flooring to the walls. So very, very specialized room here. One of the future projects, this is on the agenda for today as well, is an inclusive playground. Will allow this place that will allow students in wheelchair to actually participate in throughout the entire playground system. We have a 5-tier system here. We've got a zip line system and a swing set as well. So looking forward to that approval. Some of the future projects, we're looking to renovate the high school gym at High Point East with the same floor treatment and metal panels. ABS East roof replacement and HVAC replacement this summer. Adult Ed 66 Lindo will get the new roof and new AC as well. Coolwood Head Start, this is just a concept site plan. Vanita and I have been working diligently to come up with more outdoor space and outdoor learning classrooms, learning centers, so we can integrate the kids more outside of the classroom. And that's one of the things that the Department of Health and Human Services has been urging us to do more in our Head Starts. Let's see here. And some of the trends that we're starting to see with more green technology, high efficiency plumbing, lighting, and HVAC. That's kind of the trends that we're trying to go towards and make sure that all of our buildings are as efficient as possible. Technology has been very helpful with this project management software and mobile devices. We can put 200 sheets of plans in a cell phone and be able to track our projects well. And of course, the increased construction costs around Houston, construction prices are going up, labor and materials. So just something to look out for in the future. And Javier?
Hi. I just wanted to take a little minute to talk about our custodial staff here for our facilities. I wanted to say that they play a very important role in our facilities. My opinion, they're not just here to clean, they also take care of our students at our schools, our staff in our facilities. Their everyday tasks including cleaning facilities surrounding grounds, the inside of the building, outside. Let's see what else. They also, we also take care of some of the Head Start locations as needed. We'll help out with Head Start, with their floors, and whatever else they're asking us to do. Some of our challenges that we have: we maintain about 782,809 square feet of the schools as far as taking care of the inside cleaning, the floors, the rugs, the office spaces. Not also do we have our custodial staff to take care of our rooms. Well, we have a different facility that will take care of our conference center for our meetings up there. As of January the 1st, 2019 through January 31st, 2020, we've had 2,814 reservations, total of 22,549 hours of usage, and we've had over 90,298 attendees in all of our meetings, conference center, here in this building. And once again, our most important goal for our custodial staff is to maintain the resourceful operation of everyday sites, so it's beneficial to the education setting. Everyday tasks include cleanliness of our facilities, surroundings, proper instructional environment for which may include building safety. Thank you.
That is our report. Some of the pictures here, I'll show you real quick. These are some of the pictures we took, snapshots of our different schools at our Head Start and some of the different areas that we have for cleaning. And then there are some of the things that Javier mentioned too in his presentation. That is our presentation. Do y'all have any questions for us?
I believe we do.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all
Yes, sir.
very much for all of y'all's hard work with this whole project, and I'm glad we're wrapping it up. Thank y'all very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we're gonna move right along. Do we have a monthly report from the superintendent?
Yes, sir. Thank you, President Dick. First, I wanted to follow up on our facilities presentation that just happened. I believe it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, I had an opportunity to go out and visit the home of the Knights, Dr. Keys. Yeah, got a full-time cheerleader with Harris County Department of Ed. And I just want to say that, Harris County Department of Ed is venturing off into a new territory. And I think that this new school is symbolic of that. What you will find when we do our ribbon cutting ceremony of our new AB West school is that you will find a facility that you won't find anything like that in the entire county. You're going to find a room dedicated for special needs students that traditional districts struggle with finding solutions for and creative ways to be able to engage them in the educational process. You're going to find a playground that's on the agenda today that will allow a child in a wheelchair to be able to get on a swing. These are things that traditional school districts would love to be able to do, but just because of the sheer expense of it, they can't afford to do it for just 5 or 6 children. But here at Harris County Department of Ed, not only do we have the means to do that and the will to do it, but we have the staff that's willing to embrace the process and do that for our children. So I think that what you will find with this new school is I hope that it sets a trend for what will inspire other school districts or entities like ours throughout the state of Texas and not the country to do the same for especially the special population that rarely gets this type of treatment. So Rich and Joe have done a fantastic job in managing this project. I've been a part of many construction projects in the past. I've been impressed with our ability to protect our contingency money. I've often referred to it as a tip jar for our construction workers, and I'm just happy that we've got some money left over where we can do some of the things that are on the agenda today that's going to help this campus be truly extraordinary. And I think we'll finally get a facility that's at par with the quality of the principal and the staff that we have that will reside in it. So kudos to you, gentlemen. I appreciate you. Harris County Department of Education is always looking for creative ways to flank and support our primary objective and goals and missions as an educational entity. We want to seek out the blind spots in public education and be able to fill those to be able to bring assistance to our ISDs. Last week, Mr. Parker, Dr. Mays, and I had an opportunity to do a couple of site visits in San Antonio where we visit horse stables. And I got to meet Lyle, who's a big old horse that swore up and down I had peppermints in my hand, and is the only reason why he was paying any attention to me. But we're actually entertaining, once again, equine therapy as not only something that would bring support to the current kids that we have and the services that we provide, but also to the county, where we can open it up to ISDs to bring special needs students to come out there and assist them with the horses, or the horses can assist them, and also our military veterans. We have a couple of more site visits scheduled. We're going to be going out to Magnolia, and then in our visit to in San Antonio, we found out that we really need to go out to a place in Georgetown that is considered the standard bearers for equine therapy as we continue to determine whether that's a space that we want to venture off into. Switching gears, this Friday, we have a unique event to Harris County Department of Ed. That's going to be the first time we've done this since I've been here, but we have a history of doing this in the past. And it is the historic Harris County Department of Education chili cook-off. Now, we are going to be blessed with the presence of 2 of our board members who will be judges in the historic Harris County chili cook-off. Ms. Duhan and President Dick. And you know, Ms. Duhan is expecting now, so some of y'all might need to tone it down a little bit. We don't want it, you know, we don't want anything to happen too soon. But, you know, what y'all don't know is we've got a tremendous amount of history involved in this chili cook-off. And some of our divisions have some points of pride where they've claimed ownership, records management, of winning previous chili cook-offs. Yes. Look at them. 6. Yeah, it's being contested right now. I mean, there's several other divisions that say that that is not true. So we're going to get to the bottom of this on Friday at 11:30 at the 500s, and I'm happy that we're going to have a couple of our board members assist us with judging with that. I'm not a big chili person, but I do plan on eating plenty of cornbread and other fixings that we have that associate with the chili cook-off. So look forward to that. The only other thing I have, President Dick, is I just want to remind our board members we do not have a board meeting in the month of March. This is spring break. So we have an extended board agenda today, partly because of that, but I just wanted y'all to be aware of that. We are, however, President Dick and I have been working on trying to solidify a date for a board retreat, and that may happen sometime towards the end of the month of March, but that information is forthcoming. That's all I have.
I will note that the bringing up equine therapy that's just a great idea. I think many of the other board members share that, and it's a fitting time as it is rodeo season, which starts off on Thursday. Okay. Do we have any report for the feasibility subcommittee, Don Summers?
Not this month.
And I have as I am the board president, I do set these committees and subcommittees. Do we need to maintain the feasibility subcommittee, because it's been some time since we've had any report?
Well, we could entertain that, but, and just combine it with another report.
What I'm asking is, as I think the board president, I do recall the board president, sets committees and subcommittees and what have you. Is it still necessary for us to have this feasibility subcommittee, or can we eliminate it? Do we want to keep it? It doesn't seem like there's been any reports in the last couple of meetings.
Well, actually, the way the subcommittee has worked is it really doesn't have an agenda until we consider starting some kind of a new program.
I would ask, Mr. President, that at this time that we maintain the feasibility report. There could be some projects headed down the road where, I would look forward to being able to present formal presentations to the feasibility committee so they could bring it back to the board.
Understood. Okay. So let's move down. Do we have any other reports from other board members concerning attendance or participation in a board or HCDE related conference, event, activity, or committee, accolades for any HCDE staff member or other deserving person? No? Okay, well, let's just keep moving right along. Do we have a monthly finance report from Dr. Jesus Amezcua?
Thank you. And in relation to the chili cook-off, we might just see the Blues Brothers back again. The financial highlights as of January 31st are presented, and also the interim financial report and the budget amendment report are all part of your packet. All our financial statements are posted on our website. And our balance sheet as of January 31st is $48,815,438. Liabilities of $2,191,781. Total fund equity of 40, including appropriated year-to-date of $48,815,438. The fund balance for January 31st is $32,092,070. Non-spendable, restricted, committed, assigned, and unassigned. And we also have additional excess revenues over expenditures as of January of $14,009,297, which is primarily the taxes that we've collected early in the year, and then they're going to be spent throughout the fiscal year. Our financial ratios, and we have a percentage of fund balance to expenditures ratio. We're at 99%. Last year at the same time, we're 194%. Working capital ratio, we're at 47 million versus 31 million last year at the same time. Again, a lot of that is to the taxes that we received early in the month of January. Unassigned fund balance ratio, we're at 44% versus 63% last year. Debt to income ratio, we're at 7%. And last year at that same time, we were at 0%. Our payments are in the month of February and August for the PFC debt payments. Tax revenue to total revenue ratio, we're at 36%, where we were at 3% last year. Indirect to tax ratio, we're at 2%, 3% last year for fiscal year 19. Revenue growth indicator, we're at 25% versus 38% a year ago, and a fee for service growth at 46% currently versus 17% a year ago. Our amendments in the last few months were 110,000 and 200,000. Budget to actual as of January 31st, we're overall at 45% budget to actual build. Keep in mind that as of January, there are some a very hard cutoff deadline early on so that we can prepare financials, because we do not include all the revenues that are coming in for the month of January, and so we try to cut them off so that we can be able to prepare financial statements. But every month it catches up, and so we'll present the information once a month. So we're at 63% in general fund. Overall, our 45% for all funds. Budget amendments, they have been amended during the year. And then the expenditures, we're at 38%, and overall we're at 41% for all expenditures budget to actual. Donations for the report, we're at 15,320 for the month of January. Primarily donations for TLC, Adult Ed, and Head Start, total of $15,320. The taxable value, as of the January 31st, we're at $481,956,384,197. We still have 1.6 billion left for being not certified. But if that gets certified, we'll end up with 483,607,000,000. The year-to-date, we're collected current taxes of 18,509,760. This month, we received collections for $14,775,075. We paid tax office fees of $368,262. So we've are 76% of the budget collected in the area of current taxes. Our disbursements for the month, all the detail, that 474 checks, information, 386 transactions, and 6 transfers, totaling $2,764,560. All that is posted on our website in a check register and also part of your documentation. Under segment information, we have divisions that we look at the benefit variance, and educator certification is at negative $202,792. Records management, as of this time, $14,417. Again, a lot of that is some revenues that are still pending to be received. And school-based therapy at $907,801. And our schools at $2,462,507. Our choice partners, they're at a 62% benefit ratio, which they've transferred so far $1,835,018 to the general fund. Our amendments for the month of February, general fund, $266,795, special revenue fund, $140, and choice partners, $96,516. In the general fund, we have some adjustments to revenue increases due to additional revenue events that we just recently held. Ron Clark event, $100,000 and $170,000 in additional revenues. Budget manager for AB West for additional revenue received, $76,000. Special schools, Fortis Academy, $38,000. Innovation and additional contracted revenue, $15,000. Transfer between accounts, $23,000 for assistant superintendent for academic support. Then we also have additional tax revenues and costs for appraisal district costs for $5,795. And then the transfer between accounts of $38,000 and $23,000. Special revenue funds, we only have one minor $140 for a HUG grant that we receive for Head Start. And then in choice, it's a increase in revenues and expenses for a contract additional payroll expenditures that are going to be approved later on in the agenda. A brief overview of the PFC we went over earlier today in the PFC meeting. We have total expenditures on the 2000 bond series funds as of January 2020, $8,327,140 is our our project to date expenditures. We have earned $475,539 in interest earnings, of which $52,831 are set aside as rebate, potential rebate for next year when we do the rebate calculation. So we have a balance of $4,143,309 in our bank account for the construction project, and you have a list of all the transactions and all the payments made for the last 2 years, and so far we have $8,327,140. We have retainage of $324,547. Project timeline is scheduled March 26 for completion. In the foundation update, January 31st, we have year-to-date revenues of assets of $89,126. We have income and revenues of $74,250. Primarily the after-school program revenue that is coming in, and we will have an expense out later on in the year. Any questions regarding the financial statement for the month of January?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
You said something about Choice Partners, and Choice Partners put in $1.8 million
This year, so far.
this year. So up to date, basically, Choice Partners has generated $1.8 million that's added to,
General fund.
general fund. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's not tax dollars. That's an organization that works with us that's put that money into for educational purposes, right?
Yes, that's the excess from that proprietary activity.
Okay. Just making sure I understood that. Thank you.
And then the other report is the investment report. And all our investment reports are also posted on our website. Our portfolio is $49,120,308, of which $6.8 million is in the PFC. The 84% is TechStar, TechSpool, Lone Star. And so we have a overnight funds for all our portfolio investment. We have 35% of our portfolio in the Bank of Texas and 64% in TechSpool for the PFC. When you compare from a year ago, we're at $678,934 difference from a year ago, which is about a 1% difference than last year. All our funds are overnight. We've earned $221,020 for HCDE and $49,991 for the HCDE PFC for this year as of January 31st. We've earning a yield of 158 versus a benchmark of 155. And as you can see, that the trend currently is that downward trend on interest rates. I figure that this is going to continue this way until as it gets closer to the election, and then there may be probably a variation depending on what happens then. So we will continue to be probably in the 1.5% to 2% scenario over the next 3 to 5 months. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mesqua. Okay. So, having gone through all the reports, now let's start with the consensus agenda. Has everybody, do we have any issues of items that need to be removed from the consensus agenda?
I have some questions on E1, E13, and F2.
Just to clarify, you can still ask questions on the consent agenda items. Do you want to vote on those separately? That's the reason for removal is only if you desired to have a separate vote on them. Does that make sense?
Well, I can't vote on it.
But so just to clarify, if somebody made a motion to approve the whole consensus agenda, you can still ask questions about any consensus item you want, and then the vote would be taken together. Or if you want a separate vote on each of those items.
I think we're first at where we want information on it. I think that's what I understand, is we want.
So you don't necessarily want a separate vote?
No, not yet. I think we may want a separate vote depending on what the answers are to them.
Well, I think as a matter of procedure, she probably should ask for a separate vote, because if she's not happy with the answer, she's still going to have to vote on the whole thing.
Okay, so you want to remove them? Okay, thanks, Mr. Sumners.
E1 and E13.
And there was a third one.
F2. Are there any other agenda items that we want to take off the consensus agenda? Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Second, did you take, sorry.
There was a tie, so you
Yeah,
can choose.
second.
Which? Sumners, we'll go with Sumners. We'll go with Sumners, I get it, go with Sumners. Okay. So where was I? Okay, we got a motion, we got a second. All in favor of approving, do we have, you're right, discussion. Good point. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to hear just a quick description of F1.
F1 is a contract. We released a bid to get contractors to have the potential to work with Case for Kids. So just like we have 2 bids that run annually. They close 4 times during the year. One is for direct services that actually people can work inside the programs, and the other one is around professional trainers and consultants that can advise and help support the project initiatives. And so this is the closing of the one for the contractors and trainers. And these are the people that are available to us to purchase. And if after they've gone through the bid and a board approval, if we choose, then we work with them and we outline contracts and move forward. So this is just like with the co-op. It makes them available to become contractors.
Those 3 contractors that listed there?
Yes, so Project Matters, Project Grad, Emma Oliver are all potential contractors.
Any other questions? Okay, having a motion, a second, and gone through the questions, let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, so let's move on to consensus item E1. Do I have a motion?
I have a question about it.
Okay, we'll get to the question. Okay, do I have a second to award the contract for the job? I'll second it. Okay, now do we have discussions, and you have questions?
Yeah.
Trustee Duhon.
I'm just curious, it says that we had 429 prospective bidders and only 1 responded. So how are we basing that 1 response? How are we vetting this vendor if we only had 1 response to this?
Good question.
E1 is part of our supply catalog. It's something that we have not done in the past, and it was for, I'm sorry, what did it say? It said appliances, I believe. And the 429, the way that our bidding system works, it's an electronic bidding system, and when a vendor registers, they check a number of commodity items, and they automatically get generated a bid for any of the commodity items they checked, and that's probably where the 429 number came from. It's not as though we had 429 people come to the building and only 1 said it was worth it. So it was probably we find it all the time that people check a lot of commodity codes that may not be normal business for them, or they check everything. And just the one respondent may have been, these guys are specialists in appliances for school districts and education type entities. So that's really, I don't know if I answered, or do you still have questions?
Well, there were several things that we were basing the points off of on whether it should be recommended or not. And
Correct.
it didn't get full points, so how do we know that some other organization wouldn't be able to do a better job? Or, you know, if we only have one,
Right.
is there a possibility to reach out for more? Or
We could always do that. It's something that we've had questions from our member base asking, hey, can you look at refrigerators and some of these appliances that have not been on our supply catalog is kind of a unique item that we do once every 2 years. It's a 1-year award with one renewal, and it's something that we've got other equipment suppliers, but it's something we try to get just a hard bid line item price on. I don't remember the items that were in that category. I think there's 9 or 10 categories. I think numbers 1 through 10 are all the supply catalog in that E section. And so we could always do that. The way that we award our scores, and it may just be kind of a quick education, I don't want to belabor the point, but we have a 0 to 100 scoring criteria, and it's based on a lot of the state statutes and what we should look at, what we should score, what we can't score. And basically, if they get over a 70, they have the possibility of award. If they're below the 70, there's no possibility of the award. 70 doesn't guarantee them an award. We do a sometimes statistical analysis on who should or shouldn't be awarded based on clustering and quality of respondents. There really wasn't much to compare this to, and it's not extremely uncommon. I would say probably 1 out of, I couldn't even make a number up, 40, 50, 100 contracts may only have 1 respondent. And really the market's going to tell us whether they're good prices or not. and unfortunately that's kind of the way it works. The schools know where the price should be. We're just basically a tool to help them go through the procurement process and eliminate steps and make their procurement process easier. So still don't know. Is that
Thank you.
satisfied?
And also a note why we go through Choice Partners is it generates monies for the Department of
Absolutely.
Education.
The admin fees, yes, sir.
For example, that $1.8 million I pointed out when Dr. Jesus Amezcua, as a result of these organizations going through Choice Partners, it has helped generate an additional $1.8 million to date. Is that correct?
It was actually, I'll correct you just a little bit, it was
Please.
2.9 million. The 1.8 was what had been contributed back to HCDE. The other approximate 1 or 1.1 million basically covered our costs of employees and things like that, benefits, but the 1.8 had been returned back to HCDE to be utilized in the other divisions.
As far as the pricing of this, since there's only one person, is it a fair price? Is it what's your opinion on that?
Like I said, the market is going to tell us that. These schools know where the prices should be for the most part. If we get pretty much no response or no activity on it through the first year, it may be subject for non-renewal next year. If it's just a knockdown, drag-out price and it's tremendous and every school district's using it, we'll know we hit a home run. It's one of those things we just don't know. We're not experts on all 610 contracts that we have out there. So this is kind of a first step into a first foray into this the appliance thing and being included in our supply catalog.
So it's not unusual to have just one response?
It's pretty unusual. Like I was saying, I wish I was smarter and I had this stuff memorized, but it may be 1 out of 40, 50. I don't even know what I said last time. It's just not. It's not real common, but it does happen. It does happen. Time of day. Sometimes people are busy and they just don't respond. And can't tell you how many people we have with the V8 moment. Oh, I should have responded to that. And they say it the week after the bid closes, and we're like, sorry, it's done. 2 or 3 years down the way, we'll do it again. So.
So, seeing no other questions, let's move it to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Passes unanimously.
I'll just
Let's-
stay here for the 13.
Yes, let's go to 13. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Let's discuss 13.
I think I just want a general explanation of why we need charter bus rentals.
A lot of schools, when they go on field trips or, I mean, even the special events or whatever, they'll want to get a bus to take their kids to an event. It's something.
Most of those are my
Are they? Okay, well, good. You talk about it.
I'll help out. So, we have our Kids Day series, and so we're working with multiple districts. So we'll work with, for example, a typical Kids Day will have 10 campuses from different districts. And so we charter the buses that pick up the kids from the surrounding districts. We'll bring them either here to have a day where they're showing off their skills and talents. We have an entrepreneurship one where they open up their little businesses and shop. We also go to Hobby Center and bring them there. And all the EcoBot and the case debate work are, and by the way, we're going to nationals again, guys. So last Saturday, we had our citywide competition, and we chartered a bus to bring the kids to the actual competition.
Thanks. And so it's just a collaborative between Case and Choice, essentially.
Well, and also the other school districts. One of the things Rich had said, having been on the school district side, a lot of schools have a lot of issues with bus rentals and the procurement process, and this just gives them an avenue to go and do it. We've done the procurement process and make it a little easier for them to go through that process.
Most districts have a stringent policy with regards to how they charter bus rentals, and they have to go out and look at these charters that submit bids and see what their ratings are because of the accidents that have occurred. And so by doing this, allows school districts to be able to look at these rentals and have a choice. Some of them only have one choice out of all the RFPs because the other rental companies come in so bad, they just don't take care of them. These are, sometimes they come in fly-by-night type companies. So this is really actually a good contract for districts to use for us, because I think that it'll see, like Jeff said, it'll see a home run in the future for other districts.
Any other questions regarding agenda consensus item 13? Okay, let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimously. F2. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Let's have some discussion on F2.
So actually, my question was answered in the first description with E2, because he said that it doesn't necessarily mean that the contract award is going to go to any of them. I was wondering why we had 6 different consultation firms being potentially awarded this contract. So I think that was answered.
Excellent. It was an excellent question. Are there any other questions regarding this agenda item? Any other areas of concern? Okay. Having done the discussion, let's put it up for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Passes unanimously. So let's move on to the non-consensus agenda. 7A. Consider approval of a contract award for job number 200012698 for E-rate service for Harris County Department of Education to the proposer offering the best value to HCDE in meeting the specifications outlined in the proposal for the period of 07/01/2020 through 6/30/2021. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion on this agenda item?
Yes. It says that the RFP states it's over 50K. The contract states it's as listed in Exhibit 1. Exhibit 1 says quote, and it's a blank page. So do we have an actual quote on this?
Excellent, excellent question.
Yes, we do. I have it here. I didn't realize it wasn't in the packet, but we do. We can get that to you. Is that how, do you need a copy of this, or? Oh, the dollar amount. You just need the dollar amount. Let's see. So the total is $211,011 for the E-rate from CDW.
And what is this, the 211,000? What, could you explain what this is for? 'Cause
Yes,
I'm not super real big in IT. I'm just a lawyer. I don't understand this so well.
Sure. This is for the E-rate program where they have grants for network equipment. So this is network switches and power supplies for each one of the Head Start locations mainly. So we get about a 90% reimbursement rate on that. So we don't pay that full 211,000. We pay a percentage below that, and they reimburse 90% roughly of that.
So approximately 90% will be federal funds, which are E-rate funds. The lower amount, 10%, is what will be paid from local funds. About 10%.
Are there any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, let's put it up to a vote. All in favor? Unanimously. 7B, consider approval of a contract award, job number 200003744 for E-rate service for Harris County Department of Education to the HCDE and meeting the specifications outlined in the proposal for the period of 07/01/2020 to 06/30/2023. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Okay. Do we have any discussion with this? All in favor?
I think have the same question that Mr. Dick asked. Can you explain what we are actually talking about here?
Oh. Yes, this is this is the Category 1 items, which are for E-rate, and this is the network service. So both network service between the HCDE sites and between HCD and out to the internet. So that's what you see there is the two parts of that.
Talk English.
Sorry.
Are these the fiber networks that go between the schools and us?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right.
And E-rate reimburses about 85% of that. So.
I have a question. Why a 3-year contract when normally we go with 1-year contract? Any reason for that?
Let's see. It can be. We've done 3 years in the past. We don't want to go any further than that, but that's. I mean, we could do 1 year, but then usually the price would go up somewhat in the lower years.
I'll ask our attorney a question. I imagine we drafted these contracts?
We reviewed and revised them, yes.
Does it have the opt-out after, do we have a time period that we can opt out? Usually we can opt out after 30 days, or?
Usually, though, it does, but with this one, like you and Mr. Sumner's, I don't understand a lot of the technology stuff, so we have a lawyer in our office who specializes in technology contracts, and so she reviewed these. So I can check for you real quick under cancellation.
The only reason I'm bringing this up, because normally, the other trustees letting them know, normally there's a provision where we can cancel any contract at any time within 30 days or 60 days or something along that. And normally our contracts are 1 year. It's not abnormal to have a 3-year contract.
It's on page 4, 30-day advance notice.
Yep, early termination. Yeah. So there is a 30-day out provision in here.
So we could terminate at any time in 30 days, right?
But there is, you have to, there is a termination charge associated with if you terminate early.
What's the termination charge?
For the sum of any NRC, as that is defined, and I'll have to figure, that's non-recurring charges applicable to the terminated services to the extent not already paid by the customer. Any applicable early termination penalty that's in an individual service order. So this is a master contract, and then a service order would be separate. Any termination costs payable by PS Lightwave to any third party associated with any portion of the applicable terminated service. Any reasonable internal costs that are not otherwise recovered by PS Lightwave, and all non-recurring and recurring charges that were waived or discounted by PS Lightwave.
Okay, so we could potentially have some type of monetary penalty if we terminate early.
That's right.
That's good
There
to
should
know.
also be a non-appropriation provision. I'm looking for it as well.
You've been very helpful. So my question is there a reason why we have those terms in there? Are we getting a discounted rate because of those new conditions in the contract, or is there a difference in price?
On the site to site, it's coming up for renewals, so that's for that piece. For the out to the internet piece, it is lower, significantly lower than what we're paying now for our incumbent vendor.
How much we're saving by doing a 3-year contract?
I don't know how much of it is because it's a 3-year instead of a 1, but I know overall it's significant. I don't have it in front of me. Actually, I do. Let's see. Our incumbent is costing us $24,000 a year, and the bid there was around $14,000 a year. So it's significant savings.
Okay, so we're realizing savings by entering into a longer contract. That's okay.
In addition, if we were to procure this annually, every year, there's cost associated with notice requirements, time staff in order to issue the RFP as well. So it saves us time and effort as well to be able to have a 3-year contract.
Any other questions? Okay, let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Let's move to 7C. Consider approval of interlocal agreement revenue between the Center for Safe and Secure Schools and Aldine Independent School District for safety and security audits in the amount of $105,074. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Trustee Duhan. Okay, do we have any discussion on this? Yes. Trustee Summers.
We have these contracts with various school districts. Are they more or less standardized, and they specify what the audit includes?
Yes, sir. These are all template-based
Okay.
interlocal agreements.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Could we get a quick
Trustee
description
Cantu?
of those, of what the audit includes?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a description of what the audit includes, what
So
services are we providing?
So it's in line with the new legislative updates with the NIMS, the facility, the intruder, the surveys, and all the interior and exterior components of the audit. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing no other questions, let's put up for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, let's move right along. 7D, consider approval of board resolution authorizing a grant application to the Office of the Governor, Criminal Justice Division, on behalf of the Center for Safe and Secure Schools. Do I have a motion? Trustee Cantu, do I have a second? Thank you, Trustee Duhan. Do we have any discussion on this? Yes, Trustee Summers.
What is Rolling with Restorative Program? Yeah.
Excellent
Our
question.
Rolling with Restorative program is our restorative practices curriculum that we use throughout our district. So it's also known as restorative justice. We've just named it Rolling with Restorative, where we'll go in and train teachers and students in their community on relationship-based practices to use in their schools.
Okay, so that's our name. It's not something that the governor's office is.
Oh, no, that's our name.
calling
We
it.
named it,
Okay,
yes.
thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing none, let's move for a vote. All in favor? Okay. Passes unanimously. Move on to E. Consider approval of services agreement expenditure contract between the Center for Safe and Secure Schools and Instant Data Technologies, RFP number 16048YR. Do I have a motion? Trustee Cantu, do I have a second? Okay, Trustee Duhan. Do we have any discussion on this? Seeing no discussion, let's put it up for vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, passes unanimously. Consider approval of one full-time equivalent FTE contract manager position for the Choice Partners Division. Do I have a motion? Trustee Duhan, do I have? Excellent. Trustee Cantu. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Summers.
I assume this is a new position?
Yes, sir, it is a new position. It's a position that was in the department probably before I got here, 6, 7 years ago. It was taken away. As you saw on our ILAs this month, we've added 30, 35 new districts from other entities, and the workload has increased kind of dramatically, and it's the need to let our assistant director be an assistant director and have someone write the contracts.
Yeah, I have a question. I just want to understand this again.
Absolutely.
So, year to date, Choice Partners would y'all have generated about $2.8 million or $3 million, and you've got $1.8 million in profit, right? And you want to hire some more employees?
Correct.
To generate us more profit to put in the district, right?
Correct. There are a lot of things we
Sounds
can
good to
do
me.
with headcount.
Convinced me. Sounds good.
Okay.
Convinced me. Any other questions? Okay, let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Striking G. So we go to H. Consider approval of a resolution authorizing Texas Fit Pool Investment Pool and approval to open an investment account for Texas Fit Pools. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Cantu, do I have a second?
Seconded.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
I do have a question.
I do too. Please.
What will the percentage invested into Tex Pool be with this additional purchase?
We're going to reallocate the pool's allocation so as to be less dependent on one pool, and so we'll start with probably about 1%, and then we'll gradually increase it to maybe a 5%. The majority will be the other one. This will be just to add an additional extra pool to our investment program.
Okay, now I have a question.
Please, Trustee Summers.
Are you expecting to be able to earn more in this pool? Why would you be? Because the other pools are safe.
They're all pretty much the same in the same level, between 1 and 3 basis points. They're all going to be around the same amount. They don't deviate very much unless you get more risky. You go into commercial paper.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any reservations, Don? Do you have any
Well, I was
questions?
just curious to why we'd even go to the trouble, because all of these pools, the pools we're now using are quite secure and long established. This is a pool I haven't ever heard of before. And what's the reason for actually doing this?
That's a good question.
We don't want to include, as you are seeing in some of our investment reports, is 70 and 80% concentration in one pool. So we want to spread it around all the pools to about 20 to 25%, so that we're not dependent on one of them.
Well, here again, they all invest in the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not really, diversity is really not getting you extra safety.
Yeah, it's the safety is going to stay within the same, because we're not increasing yield as much. The rates are pretty much stagnant at this point in time. So unless we start investing a little bit long term, and instead of doing overnight, we'll do 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months on securities. But this was just to give us an added tool for the department.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Let's go to I. We're moving I. Okay. Let's go to J. Consider approval of job order contract for the turnkey playground installation at ABS West with ERC. Do I have a motion? Trustee Hinojosa, do I have a second?
Seconded.
Okay. Trustee Duhan. Do we have any discussion on this?
Yes.
Please, Trustee Duhan.
Can we have a cost breakdown? There was not one. We had a cost breakdown of the sensory room items, but we don't have any cost breakdown of this, and $500,000 is,
It's at the very end.
It's a very legitimate question.
It's on
Gotta look at
stage.
Page 2,298.
$299.
I wasn't joking.
But the exhibit is missing, the RS means, the job order form with the RS means line items, isn't there.
I could have missed it somewhere in the.
No, it's not there.
We have it on.
So, Mr. Baylor, is it my understanding we have that? It's just
Yes,
not
we
in the
we
board
pull it up.
book?
We can pull it up real quick right here. It just was, it must not have been put in the back, I guess. I thought it was turned in. Here, let me, this is.
That's the sensory.
That's the sensory room. Where's the other one I gave you? So this is not a complete breakdown based on everything. The equipment total right now for this project is $456,929.33. That's the actual playground, installed in the playground. And I guess I'd have to figure out how the difference is between the ERC as a jock contract and their portion for their bonds and their part of overseeing the project and permits and stuff like that. So this is just, this part right here is actually the proposal from Game Time and the installation of the playground itself and also the equipment.
I imagine we're on a little bit of a time crunch now to get that approved and.
We are, in a sense, that we would like to, once the building's open and we have kids in school, we're planning on starting that project actually probably in May, because it's going to take a little time to do some work out on the playground because it's not the original playground that was going to be put in. So its time would be of the essence to get started in May to get it done by the time school starts back up in August.
How many quotes did we have on this?
There were two different companies that actually provide this type of playground, and they do this kind of installation of this. There are other playground companies like Miracle, and I'm familiar with Miracle. That's what we used before. But this one and Lone Star. Landscape Structures was the other one that could provide this type of playground for us, because it's more or less of a design development type playground. So,
Right.
and this company right here is, I saw their playground before we went out. I went to look at some of their installations in Conroe, and it was just magnificent to see the kind of playground that they put in, and the way they installed it. It's actually, that playground is actually about 15 years old in Conroe, and so it looked tremendous. I mean, it was in great, immaculate shape.
The rendering looks beautiful, and it's very important to have this, but I just felt like we had very little information on it.
And Rich, we'd appreciate in the future to have, that we actually had that documents in there. I believe.
Absolutely.
Mr. President, that's 2 items that we missed backups to, so I'll look into that after the board meeting and ensure that we always have backups with the agenda items.
Are there any more questions on J? Okay, let's move it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? All abstaining? Okay. Let's go to K. Consider approval of job order contract for installation of High Point East Gym floor with EMA Sport Solutions. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Okay, do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, let's move it for a vote. All in favor? All opposed?
I'm in favor.
Okay, you're in favor, okay.
I wake up.
We're gonna move right along. L, consider approval to amend CH Local F fiscal year 20 expenditure approval list. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Okay, let's have some discussion. Anybody do we want to discuss anything on this? Trustee Sumners?
Yeah, I assume that at one point in time, we were expecting this to come in at under 50,000.
Yes.
It came in at 60% more than that. Did we just have that many more participants than was expected?
Yeah, we have more participants that attended the event, and therefore that went over the amount over 50,000. So because of that 50,000 threshold, we need to bring it for CH local approval.
Right. Well, that was pretty much what I assumed. So
yeah.
So we had a significantly larger crowd than we thought we were going to have originally.
Approximately 250.
We went from
plus
300 to 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my question.
Thank you.
It's saying that there was a profit of $42,000, so approving the extra 33,000 now beyond, or. Okay.
Okay. In the other report on the budget amendment, it looked like those figures didn't. The difference between those two figures was like 70,000, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, because we already had some budgeted line items included on there, so there was no need to increase it.
Okay.
So, but the delta is $42,000 in difference.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Okay, moving right along. M, consider approval of HCDE Head Start, Early Head Start Student Selection Criteria to 2020 to 2021. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Okay, let's put this to discussion. Anybody have any questions? Trustee Sumners?
I don't remember what the previous criteria was. Is there really any deviation now from what it was in the past?
We made some slight adjustments under with disabilities, and we also merged, instead of having an early Head Start one and a Head Start one, we merged everything into a single, and then we changed some of the points to make sure when we have children with disabilities that they rise to the top. so we can support us in meeting our 10%.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing none, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Okay. Let's go to N, consider approval to issue a request for proposals for governmental relations services, including lobbying services. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Do we have any discussion? Trustee Sumners?
This particular board policy allows the superintendent to select the manner in which he's going to request information from the various lobbyists.
What do you mean the manner by which?
In other words, it gives him the option, I think, as I read it, of either picking someone or going out for proposals.
No, sir. So CH Local provides that all purchases of political services, including without limitation lobbying services, shall require board approval regardless of cost. Such services shall be presented to the board for input a reasonable time prior to solicitation of a quote or proposal from a vendor. So before issuing the RFP, that's what this action item is.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying, though, we are going to issue RFPs and not just select a firm.
Well, you can't legally just select a firm, because under 44031 of the Education Code, anytime you spend $50,000 or more in the aggregate in a fiscal year, you have to competitively procure those services. And these services, governmental relations services, are not professional services. They're not exempt from competitive procurement. And the opposite is true. You must competitively procure
Okay.
those. And so
But I just misread up above that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this just means, that pursuant to the board's specific CH Local policy, HCD can't issue an RFP for these
Right.
services without the board approving it first.
Okay. Next question, are we going to get a copy of the RFP when it is issued? Okay.
That wouldn't be a problem.
Any other questions? Seeing none, let's put up for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. I guess we're going to executive committee.
Well, you got to read the.
I know. Okay, it's 2:21. I can see the time now. We're going to executive session under Texas Governmental Code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by Section 551.001 to 551.084, including but not limited to 551.071, 074, and 076. Okay, we're back at it at 3:50 p.m. And I guess, do I have a motion?
Move for 9A that the 3 positions be hired as discussed in executive session.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, let's move it for a vote. All in favor? Okay, let's move on. Do I have another motion?
Yes, for 9B, I move to propose suspending without pay pending discharge probationary contract employee Alan Levitt for good cause as determined by the board and delegate authority to superintendent or designee to take all action regarding the proposed suspension without pay as discussed in executive session.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's move it for vote. All in favor? Okay. I think that's, do I have any more motions?
Last one. There's one more. So for 9C, I move to terminate probationary contract of Alan Levitt at the end of contract period in the best interest of the department and delegate authority to superintendent or designee to notify the employee of this action in accordance with applicable law and policy.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay. Okay. Do I have any other motions? Maybe a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Okay, there we go.